Good evening, everybody. It is time for a special edition of the Mully Shaves channel. Guys, I introduced a friend of mine into wet shaving today. I gave him a 1970 Gillette Black Beauty, a razor stand, a brush, 2 tucks of blades, a bumpy bowl, and a sample jar of Taylor of Old Bond Street tobacco leaf. So he's never done this before, so he asked me to give him a tutorial on how to create a lather. So I figured I'd do a quick how-to wet shaving tutorial. And Kurt, if you need any more information after this, just watch the comments, because as I've always said about the internet, if you have questions, don't ask, tell. Give your opinion on something, and then the experts will come out and tell you how wrong you are. Okay, so everything that I say here is probably going to get shot down. Sorry, I'm in one of those moods tonight. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, I've got my Yaqi brush. This is similar to the brush that I gave to Kurt. So Kurt, I'm just going to take this. I've got a little tub of water here. I'm just going to set this down in it for a second. Now, that is a synthetic brush, so you don't need to soak it. You can just touch the bristles in the water and it's ready to go. You can dunk it in and it's good to go from there. You don't need to soak it. But I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute. All right, so I told you this afternoon you don't need a whole lot of soap. Now, a lot of people like to scoop heavy. That's perfectly fine, but you've only got that little jar for now, and I'll give you more if you need it. So what I'll do, I've got my little scooper here. I'm just going to scoop out this much. It's not much. You can see how, right? It's not much at all. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to cut that in half. There, that little dollop, about the size of a peanut. And I think that's pretty hollow down through the center. Anyway, so I will take this. You could put this on your face if you want to take half of it and wipe it on here and half of it and wipe it on here. Or you could put it directly into the brush and do that and then face lather. But since this is your first time, let's not try face lathering yet. We'll go with the bowl. So keep your bowl closed. Just put that down in there like that. Just, you know, and you can spread around with your finger if you want, but it'll be okay by itself. So got it in there. Get her into position. My brush is wet, so I'm gonna smack the water out of it. Matter of fact, what I would do is I will take some of that water, put it down in the bowl. Ooh, yeah, about like that. Can you see that? There's not a whole bunch in there, but there's enough. Okay, and then just start turning. And within seconds, you're going to start seeing a nice lather started. Now, you don't need to mash it into the bowl. You just you know, mix it around, and you will see the lather growing. Now, as you'll see here, this is kind of pasty, right? You're going to want a little more water than that. So what you can do is you just take your brush, dip the tips in the water about that far, bring them back up, and just add a little water to it. And you'll probably do that a couple times. The more water you add, the bigger it'll get. And now you can shave with this. There's enough there to shave with. If you scrape it off on the sides, you can see we got all that shave cream. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a little more water to it. Dip the brush in to the water. Just keep adding little by little. And what you're going to look for is a consistency that kind of looks like yogurt. I'm going to go with a little more water. We're getting there. See that? That look good? I'm going to dip my brush in again. Right? The water will transfer off your brush. Now, people say, you know, something like Taylor Gold Bond Street, you don't need to add a whole bunch of water, but that's not true. May not be super thirsty like some other creams or soaps, but yeah, I mean, you need water. It's, you know, it's going to be paste if you don't. So look what we've got here, right? We've got a nice. Now you could shave with this. That would be a good shave, I think. But just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna add a little more water. Just get it in there and mix it around. This might be the last one. Yeah. What you're gonna do is look at your bubbles or your lather, and just make sure there's no bubbles, big air bubbles in there. So just keep mixing it until the bubbles are gone. Yeah, this is nice. And that little scoop, look at all this cream it made, right? So you do not need a whole bunch of product. That's why I told you today that little sample that I gave you, 20 grams, that'll last you the next month easily. I think even if you're shaving every day, you're not going to use that up. So yeah, here you go. Look at that. And you know, you can check the peaks. Nice, right? Okay, now what I would do with this is I would scrape it off a little bit, and then I would just pick some up off my brush and then just lather my face up with it. You don't really need to scrub it in. You can just paint it on, right? Until you know, what you think is nice. If you want, a little old trick from what you're used to is get your shave cream on and then take your hand and kind of rub it in, right? Like you used to lather, and you'll feel the slickness, and then maybe add a little more soap on top of it for cushioning. Yeah, that could probably even use a little more water, to be honest. That little dollop of soap was a lot. And then do your shave. Do you want to do a 3-pass shave right from the beginning? I don't know. That's entirely your call. But I would say if you're going to do a 3-pass shave, you should map out your beard growth, see which way the hairs are growing. And your first shave, your first pass, you're going to want to go with the grain. Your second pass, you want to go across the grain. And then your third pass, you're going to go against the grain. And that'll get it smooth as silk. Now, some people have sensitive skin and they can't do a third pass. Or they can't do their neck very well because, you know, they get a lot of razor burn. But I'm of the mind, if you can get a good slick lather and you don't go over your neck 1,000 times, you'll get a good BBS shave, the baby butt smooth shave. All right. So anyway, what I do is after I've finished my shave, I've got plenty of cream left over. What I do is I get all this cream out of the bowl and I squeeze it out. So I'll goop it out like that, and there's still a ton in there. Good God. That little bit of soap created all of this. Do you believe that? A little bit of cream created that. I could shave 3 days off of that. Anyway, so what I'll do is I will scoop this out when I'm finished, and then I'll squeeze it out of the brush and wash my entire face with it. These soaps are really good for your skin. So, yeah, this is really nice. You know, I could probably add more water to this and make it creamier. But, yeah, that looks like it's a nice lather. Nice lather. And Taylor Gold Bond Street. God, it smells so good. Okay, now, let's move on to the razor. I gave you the 1970 Gillette Black Beauty. So the closest I can get to you tonight is my Fat Boy. Very similar in nature. Very similar the way it's made. So anyway, you're going to open it up, put your blade in, set your aggression level. Since this is your first shave, I'd say start at 3, 2, I'd say 3's safe. 3's not very aggressive. Start at 3. When you close it up, and then this will stop. When you close it, give it an extra quarter turn until it comes to a complete stop. Then it's locked down into position. Okay. Now you've got your lather on your face. Now, I've watched a lot of videos over the past year of people shaving, and I've gotten a lot of advice from people, a lot of good advice, and I've seen a lot of videos disparaging the cartridge razor. And I don't buy that. I don't think the cartridge razor is as evil as people make it out to be. And I've seen some fairly well-established YouTubers and shavers talk about the cartridge razor, but they leave out one thing, and that is, one thing that they do tell you is with the double-edged razor, don't press it into your face like you do a cartridge razor. I've researched this. Nowhere, any literature, any manuals, any TV commercials tells you to mash it into your face. Nowhere does it say that. Matter of fact, Gillette recommends a light touch with your cartridge razor. Now, when I first started, when I found out about the 3-pass, and I was learning about this double-edged shaving, I didn't have my first razor yet, so I was still using my cartridge, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that 3-pass with my cartridge, and I'm going to use the no pressure method. Worked perfectly. So, and you know what? I'm going to get some blowback on this. People are going to tell me that cartridge razors suck and they get ingrown hairs. And yeah, okay, well, we get it. But my advice to you, if you're just starting out, keep your cartridge razor. Do your first pass, do your second pass, do your third pass. If you have a lot of stubble left over, grab your cartridge razor and do some cleanup. Lather up each time and get your cartridge razor for cleanup. You will eventually phase the cartridge razor out, but for the time being, when you're beginning, it'll help you clean things up. I never use my cartridge razor for cleanup anymore. I only use it for a complete shave if I have to. Now, I'm a little pissed off because before I came in here, I was walking in here and I dropped this on the floor and it left a nick on the bar. Man, that pisses me off. Anyway, so when you go to shave, like I said, no pressure. Our friend Mark Zarady, his famous line is 30 degrees, a light touch, let the razor do all the work, gentlemen. And that is the way it is. You can just put it to your face. You don't push it in. Just lay it on there and just let the weight of the razor move down with you. Pushing it in is what's going to get you cut. So and it's going to give you the razor burn. So just, light touch, just like this. And make sure everybody knows that I do not have a blade in here, okay? Just a light touch like that, right? Do your thing. With the light touch, what was I going to say? I had something prepared to say about that. 30 degrees, light touch, let the razor do all the work, gentlemen. Credit to Geo Fatboy. One of his techniques for beginners is to put the razor, the head of the razor, the cap, straight against your face and start moving back and forth. It's not cutting like this because the blade is not touching your skin. So if you're having difficulty finding the angle, you can put it on your face straight like this and just rub it like this and slowly turn the angle until you feel the blade catch and then go from there. And you can do that again, slowly. Oh, there it is. And take it down, okay? Like I said, map out your growth. Maybe you have to let it grow, 3-4 days so you can see which way it's going. But once you get that figured out, then that's going to take you on your next step to shave nirvana. So we were at the bench today, and you felt my neck. My neck is like glass after a good shave this morning. So I wish you all the best. Oh, we're not finished. So after you finish your shave, you're going to have a post-shave routine. So what I do is I have my little station set up there at the sofa on the table. I've got my laptop there, and I've got a rubber mat with a towel on top of it. So what I do is, oh, sorry, if you're going to change aggression, unlock it, open it up just a touch. You don't have to open it all the way, but unlock it, maybe let it raise up a little bit and change your aggression, and then lock it back down. Okay. When you're finished, these razors, you don't really need to wipe them off. They're not going to rust, but the blades will. The blades will rust. So what I recommend is when you finish, and it's not just my recommendation, a lot of people recommend this, and some will tell you just open it up and just let it sit. Sorry, I'm going to take the extra mile. I open it up, I take the blade out, I put it on my towel. The towel is lying on the laptop like this. I put the blade on it. Don't wipe your blade. I just take this and fold it over and tap and pat it like this. And then I flip the blade over, fold it over, and tap it again. That usually gets all the water off of it. Then I take this and I kind of shake the water out of it. You don't have to wipe it down, but I do. I usually just take a quick towel, wipe it off, just like that. Just get the gunk, any soap residue off the top of it, because I want it looking like this when people come in here. So I wipe it off, and then I leave the doors open, and I turn it upside down, and I leave it on the table like this, to stand on its own, and then I go to work, and then it's got 6 hours to dry before I come home. Now, it's metal, so it's not wet. I've just wiped it off, but there is water down in the center there. So that will allow the water to run out of the center and hopefully dry up. Now your blade, you could, what I have is on my little side table, I've got a magnet and I got it stuck on there, and I just take my blade after I dry it off and I just stick it on that magnet. And then next time I need it, I just reach for it and put it back in. Or what I'll do is when I come home from work, once everything's dried to my satisfaction, which it is, when I'm putting things away, I'll just take the blade, I'll put it back in here and close it up and put it in my stand. But most of the times I'll leave it in the on the magnet. Okay. Then when you're finished with this, when you're finished with all of that, that's pretty much your shaving and you're taking care of your razor. Next thing, you're going to want a post-shave routine. Most people use this Thayer's Witch Hazel facial toner. You don't necessarily have to have this brand, but this is an alcohol-free brand. So if you're going to get some Witch Hazel, try to find one that's alcohol-free. With that, you just need to, put that on there and then just, put it all over your face. It's an astringent, so it will clean your pores. So yeah, alcohol-free. This one's rose petal. I have the unscented one myself. But yeah, you just get a handful of this like aftershave and you just put it on there and wipe it in. And then if you have some kind of an aftershave balm, there are tons of them, find one that you like. If you want any recommendations, feel free to, drop me a line. Well, you and I talk all the time anyway, so just ask. And within a couple weeks, your skin's going to be looking like $1 million. And I'll tell you something, Dave. Dave contacted me a few months ago and he said he's been watching my YouTube videos and he says, man, your skin looks great. What have you been doing? And I got him into this, and I just saw him not too long ago, and he looks 10 years younger. His skin looks great, because he's been following this thing probably going about 4 or 5 months now. Anyway, that is it. I look forward to seeing your video. If you have any questions about this, hit me up. I'm home. I won't, I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I have to go to the doctor, but I can talk from there. I guess that's about it. Like I said, if you have anything else, feel free to ask. Look in the comments, because I'm sure people are going to be commenting. And, it's not that the people are wrong. It's just everybody's got a different way of doing things. So you'll find yours. This is how I do mine, and then, other people do it other ways. So one comment that you may get is how to measure soap versus water. If you want to be that technical, go for it. I tend to eyeball it, but there's nothing wrong with measuring it, and probably measuring it. If I did measure it, I'd probably not use as much soap, but I have so much that I have to use it up. So I usually scoop a lot larger than that. But you know what? This kind of makes me feel like, yeah, I'm going to go back to scooping small. All right, that is it. Kurt, you need anything else? You need any soaps? You need any blades? You need anything? You want to try? You want to try a different razor? You know, once you get into this, if you want to try some other razor, hey, let me try it. Just let me know. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any tips, tricks, throw them down in the comment below, and we will see you guys later. Peace out. Did I forget anything? Oh, Kurt, I did forget one thing. Brush care. Brush care. After you finish, this is a different brush. I'm not using that one because it's wet. After you finish, rinse your brush out, get all the soap out of it. It only takes a couple seconds. Just rinse it out really well, get all the soap out of it. And what I do is, like with my bumpy bowl, if I'm using a bowl, I will, hold on, there's still water down in here. I will take my brush on the side of my bowl and do this to smack the water out of it, turn it, do it a couple times, turn it, right, and do that. And then when I'm in here, I put my towel like this, and then I rub it up and down on my towel like this while I'm turning it to get all the stuff out, and it comes out nice and neat, and you can put it away. Now, people are going to say, oh, don't wrap it up against the side of the bowl. I've been doing my brush for 8 years like that. My brushes are fine. It's not going to hurt it. So anyway, so yeah, clean your brush out, and then you don't necessarily need a razor stand or a brush stand, but I can hook you up with that. I do have one that you can have, because that brush is kind of an odd shape. But what I do is I just stand it on the den. Just stand it here like that. You can see it there. See it. Yeah, not necessary to have a stand, but if you want one, they're out there, and I've got one if you want it. It's a brush and razor stand. Yeah. So anyway, I'll let you go with that, and like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Bye.